And joining us from Chicago's Lynda Tran, CBSN political contributor, Democratic strategist, and founding partner of 270 Strategies. Okay, Lynda, tonight's speech, it gives President Obama one last chance to define his presidency. What are you expecting to hear tonight?
You know, this is the latest in a long string of historic farewell addresses. You know, this is a tradition that goes all the way back to George Washington. And in this case, it is Barack Obama's last and final opportunity to speak really directly to the nation, directly to the Americans that he has been commander-in-chief to for the last 8 years. I definitely expect he's going to do some reflection about his administration, the things that he's most proud of. He will certainly thank the millions of people who are going to be watching from around the country who in some way, shape, or form feel like this was also their presidency, this was also their administration because they contributed. And then it's typical for these farewell addresses for presidents to also potentially issue any warnings or highlight any concerns about threats to the nation, either foreign or domestic, and finally to talk about our values as a country and to bring us together and remind us that regardless of what's happening in the world, regardless of whatever happened on the campaign trail, we're all American and we're all in this together.
That's a great point, Lynda. I was intrigued listening to Charlie's interview with Dennis McDonough about some of the things that he said about the president. And one of the criticisms that some people have had of President Obama is that he can be aloof, that he can be stubborn, that he can be cold. Others have said, those who support the president have said, look, he applies cold, hard logic to the problems at hand. He looks at everything and attempts at some level, based on the understanding that he has of the situation, to deliver what he thinks is a logical response. And that frustrates people because sometimes, as we see with the incoming president, people want to see an emotional reaction. People want to see an impulsive reaction to something that may have occurred or that may have happened. How do you read that?
Yeah, you know, I'm one of the fortunate few who have actually seen him behind the scenes. And I think anybody who knows him would say he's anything but aloof, anything but cold. He's, you know, very passionate, very energetic, charismatic on so many levels. I think that what people are interpreting when they say he's aloof or, you know, allude to this no drama Obama, it's the fact that he took the job extraordinarily seriously. He was very studious. You heard Dennis McDonough talk about how hard he worked at making sure he understood all the various facets. And, you know, look, it's the most powerful job in the world, and people ought to take it seriously.
I'm curious, Lynda, we saw President Obama weigh in very heavily, campaigning for Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail in a way that I haven't seen previous presidents do. Largely, his approval ratings were really high as well. Do you think that his post-presidency will be different from other presidents? Do you see him possibly weighing in when he believes that future President Trump does something that he feels goes against the grain or is not in the best interest of the country?
You know, I think that President Obama understands the institutional responsibilities he has to kind of get his successor off and as best of a foot as possible. There's no question that there were some diametrically opposed points between the two of them on the campaign trail. And there are certainly lots of signals that there are going to be some active organizations either speaking on his behalf or allowing him to continue to have this microphone. I mean, he's 55 years old. He's young. If he decides that he wants to be out there, you know, stumping, if he wants to be out there speaking on behalf of issues he cares about, he certainly has the ability to do so. There have been some signals that there may be some moments, some issues that really matter so much to him that he would come off the sidelines. But I honestly think he is leaving it to the movement that he built. You know, he said way back from the beginning that we are the change we've been waiting for. And I fundamentally believe he thinks that it's most important for that next generation of change agents to really take the helm.
Lynda, to that point, give us a sense when we do this parlor game of when we talk about a president's legacy, it's really kind of too early to do that right now. I mean, he's still in the office, but in 3 years or in 5 years or in 10 years, because there have been many, many presidents that history has judged as being either successes or failures long after they have left office and long after the initial reaction to their presidency was addressed. So if you give, just from your point of view, in 3 or 5 years, what will we be saying about President Barack Obama's legacy?
Well, certainly, as an OFA alum, I hope that we'll be saying lots of good things about it. But even if you aren't, even if you were opposed to Barack Obama, the reality is the numbers speak for themselves. When he took office, the economy was hemorrhaging 800,000 jobs a month. Since we were also, hovering near 10% in terms of the unemployment rate. And since he took office, we've had 16 million jobs. We've had the longest job growth streak on record. Wages are rising, actually, for the first time in many, many years and at a greater rate than in the last 4 decades. So the numbers are the numbers, and there's no question that he inherited a country that was on the brink of a next Great Depression, and he's leaving it much, much stronger than he brought it on, than he got it when he entered the Oval Office.
So, Lynda, in 2009, President George W. Bush gave his farewell address from the White House, summing up his 8 years in office. And Bush's farewell speech, I'm told, was 13 minutes and 36 seconds. Any word how long President Obama's will be tonight?
And if you recall, Bill Clinton's speech was super long. I don't know how long it was, but it was a humdinger.
In the tradition of Bill Clinton,
yes.
You also had a very long speech at the Democratic National Convention, as we all remember. Look, I have no idea how long he's going to speak, but I know that it's going to be inspirational, and I know that it's going to be uplifting to a lot of people all around the country who'll be listening in.
Lynda Tran, always great to talk to you, Lynda. Thank you so much.
Thank you.